Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Midland Made. Today we have two amazing coaches here with us to talk about everything athletics, Midland Athletics, the team culture, and what makes their team so special. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
My name is Micah Rhodes. I'm the head women's volleyball coach here at Midland.
Hi guys, and my name is Kayla Rojas, and I'm the head cheerleading coach here at Midland.
Awesome. Okay, Micah, will you just tell us a little bit about how you started coaching volleyball and then eventually what led you here to Midland?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it brief because it's kind of an interesting story, but I'm from Grand Island originally, and when I was growing up, there weren't opportunities for boys to play volleyball, so I kind of just got my love by watching the Huskers on TV. And I went to school in Lincoln at the University of Nebraska, and they had a men's club team, so I joined that, and somehow my dad was at an FCA event with John Cook, and my dad will talk to anybody and mention that I was on the club team, and Cook actually said that he was looking for a student manager, and so I could go and talk to him if I was interested in that opportunity. So I did, and I ended up working with the Huskers for 3 years. So that's kind of how I got into volleyball.
Yeah.
Never had any intentions of coaching. I had a degree in journalism, but it was kind of hard to get a job out of college. So there was a coach that knew I'd worked with the Huskers, asked if I was interested in being her assistant, and that's where it started. So that was at University, which is a D3 school up in Northwest Iowa, and then it led to an opportunity at Creighton, to UNO, and then I went to Bellevue before coming here to Midland. So I think that speaks to the overall talent level of volleyball here in the state for me to be able to be involved with so many great programs. But Coach G, the head coach here before me, knew that I was in the area, and when I wasn't at Bellevue, he asked if I wanted to come and be a part of his program. So ended up here in Fremont. Didn't really know much about Midland before that, but now I'm loving it. And in my first year as the head coach. So that's a little bit about my background.
Yeah, love that. And we love that you finally made it to Midland. I hear so many great things about you as a coach and then seeing the little kiddie clinic that y'all put on as well. But also I've had a friend who took coaching volleyball and she was like, it's so fun. He's so great. I learned so much, and she's a powerlifter. So it's like she doesn't play volleyball anymore, but she was like, it was the best experience. So I've heard nothing but amazing things about you and your program.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and that class was something that I didn't know at first that I had to do, and I was like, okay, I've never taught before, but I know volleyball, so it was really easy, and I love the kids that are in that class, and I really try to just make it a fun experience for them. So I'm glad to hear that someone did.
Yes, all positive things.
Awesome.
That's awesome. All right, Kayla, will you do kind of the same thing, just a little bit about your background and then how you got to Midland?
Absolutely. So I'm originally from Beatrice, Nebraska, so home is here in Nebraska, and ended up here at Midland my sophomore year of college, and so I'm alumni. And got my undergrad and then my master's degree through Midland, and was the graduate assistant for about a year and 3 months before I became the interim head coach, and then stepped into the head coaching role after completing my master's degree. So blessed to be here. This is my 7th season as head coach, so just love what I do. And Midland is just like a home to us. I met my husband here. We have 2 beautiful kids, just blessed and immersing ourselves in the community of Fremont. We built a house 2 years ago. So, just love Midland.
That's so great. So I know, Micah, you said that you kind of started in college and kind of just jumped from university to university. Kayla, did you ever coach high school at all, or was it just strictly Midland?
No, just strictly Midland. Jumped right into coaching at the university level.
That's amazing.
I did do some, I coached in high school when I was in high school. I coached gymnastics, and so that was kind of my leader into to cheer, and did all-star cheer, and then led me to competing for Midland for 4 years, but no high school level experience, just the college level.
That is so amazing. And I think that speaks volumes to both of you guys and your leadership qualities and just who you guys are as coaches, just being welcomed right into the collegiate level. Just how valued that you guys are at such a high competitive standard. And so I just think that that speaks volumes to how you guys are as coaches. And I know I see it, football games, volleyball games, like I can definitely tell. And I actually was involved in volleyball and cheer in high school. And so I love going to the games, and I just love seeing the competition. I love hearing about nationals for cheer, and just all those things. So I really love watching you guys and how you interact with your teams. And again, hearing from people who are involved in those. Well, that was so great to just hear a little bit about you guys as coaches and how you guys came to Midland. Speaking of Midland and our athletic department, we do have the most athletic teams, which 33, that's a lot. Kayla, how do you kind of view that as a coach, and how do you incorporate that mindset of we have the most athletic population community on campus? How do you kind of incorporate that into your mindset as a coach with your team?
Yeah, I think that we're super unique because, one, we're part of that varsity sport world. As cheer, we're the only, division that actually deems cheer to be a sport. And so, you look at your D1, D2 community college, like they are just clubs. So NAI is really unique in the fact that we are one of them, but then we're also out there cheering for our other varsity sports. So we cover football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, but then we also started this year kind of a little Warriors supporting Warriors, and all of my kids have to attend a home event. So we pick about 8 or so of them to attend a home event, and so we're out there also supporting all the other sports out there, and then in hopes that they would come and return the favor and come to our home invite in February. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think that it's unique. It creates a really awesome culture on campus to have so many athletes, and allowing them to kind of meet different people and different people from different countries as well has been super fun and unique to see on campus. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just to kind of play off of what she said, what I tell recruits when they're coming in is, with that many athletic teams on campus, you're going to be around like-minded people all the time. So I think it's really good for our students, for the student aspect of it, not even the athlete aspect, but that you're going to be around people who understand the balance between academics and athletics and understand the time management and quiet hours and all of those things. But it's also just a good opportunity to meet a whole bunch of different people in different walks of life and things like that. So I think it's fun, like she said, to be able to go and support other teams. We've had a lot better support this fall. I know that's something that Courtney is really trying to push within the athletic department to get. There's so many athletes here. Why are we not out supporting them all the time? So I just think it's great to make friends across the aisle or in different areas on campus, and then really be able to go and support them at their individual respective games.
Yeah, for sure. And as a student athlete, like I feel that when students come to our meets, and like we only have a couple that are in town, but like I'm asking my friends who aren't powerlifters, like, where's your game? Where's your meet? Is it within an hour? Can I make it? And so I really love that Courtney is trying to incorporate more community within different sports, because it's really easy for like cheer and dance to go and support each other because they're so intertwined with football and volleyball. They're just always together, but it's really hard for like a powerlifter to be like, okay, where is nationals? I was just talking to Jersey the other day. I was like, where's nationals? Can I come? Like, where's your other competitions? I know you have an end of year thing, and then dance as well, and volleyball. Like, I've been trying to go to more because it's in the fall. And so it's like, I really love that Courtney is really pushing athletes and coaches to just like get out there more and get in front of different sports teams, because it is so important for that culture. And I love that you talked about talking to recruits about like how you will be around like-minded people, because that's something that I noticed right away, is that we all have this mindset of competitiveness, whether it's academics, athletics, like whatever it is, we just want to be the best, because that's just kind of how athletes are wired. And so I love that you mentioned that, because I definitely feel that as an athlete. And so kind of going on culture, how do you guys kind of maintain healthy, good, supportive culture within your team, but then also kind of like what we were talking about with your team in the community as well?
Yeah, well, servant leadership is a big value in our program. That's something that Coach Gieselman really established, and so I wanted to continue that. We get great fan support for volleyball games.
Yeah.
We typically have a top 5 attendance in the NAI, which is great.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Nebraska's a volleyball sport, so I think
Yeah.
it makes it easier for us to get a lot of fans here. But, you know, with the success that our program has had, it just makes people want to come and support us. So with that being said, we don't want it to be take. We want to make sure that we're giving back. So we do a lot of things out in the community. We do a lot of volunteering opportunities. And, you know, to an extent, I like to talk about with recruits that our players are kind of small town celebrities. Like, I guarantee you, if they're out in the community at Walmart or Chipotle or, you know, Starbucks, wherever they're going, they might run into somebody in the community that knows they're on the volleyball team and they want to talk to them. So we just really try to make sure that for as much support as we get from the community, we want to give back to that to continue to get those people to come, to maybe even broaden it and get more people that want to come and support us.
Yeah, I love that. That's so great.
Same. I mean, yes, we want to be also out into the community. It's important that we're showing our faces in a different light than just on the sidelines or on our competition floor, being out there and just, giving back. It's the best. So, and it feels good. I think that as an athlete, like when I was doing it, it felt good. And, and I hope that they get the same reward out of that as well. So.
Yeah. And that's so good. And like what I really love to tell recruits, like as an ambassador, talking with prospective students every single day that I'm working for different sports, different activities, I'm just always telling them about the culture of Midland, like not just with your specific activity, but Midland as a whole. And I think that the arts program, I really like to highlight it when I talk about the arts because they have a Midland Arts for All. And it's like, that is just what Midland is. Like, it's for everybody. There's a space and a spot for everyone to be welcomed and to thrive and be successful. And I think like our athletic program does that really, really well of just welcoming people. And I think that goes to show with the fan base of welcoming people from the community. And when people are out, like you're representing your sport, you're representing Midland, like you're representing more than just yourself. And so going out into the community and showing your face and realizing like, if I see someone in Walmart and they recognize me, like that means a lot. And if I say hi to this little girl who just came from volleyball practice or cheer practice, like, and they recognize me as a collegiate athlete, like that means a ton to them. And so I really, really love that you guys go and do things out in the community. And I mean, it's really easy to be noticed in a very small town with a super, super loving and huge fan base within Fremont. I just love seeing like high schoolers on campus and just wanting to go to all of the things. It's really great to like see that in our community too. Yeah. So with so many athletic teams, 33 in specific, how do you guys kind of find your own place at Midland? What is your team's identity, and how do you as a coach kind of steward that in your team within the community of Midland?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I took over the program in January, I thought it was important to bring in a sports psychologist, and an elite mindset coach is what he's also known as. I just think in today's society, there's so many expectations and pressures placed on our student athletes and what they're seeing on social media. So anyways, brought him on, and one of the first things that he wanted our girls to do was to create what their values are. What do they want to be known for as a team? So it was kind of nice for them to be like propelling their own identity. But so the team chose, they wanted it to be unity. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but really just making sure and kind of touching on the things that we talked about in the last segment of, you know, just a family feel, making sure everybody feels included. Nobody is on their own. I think that's one of the greatest things about my team is every day when I walk down into practice, people are talking to different people. There's never like the same groups or cliques. There's no hierarchy. I mean, to an extent, you know, there's captains, there's seniors, there's freshmen, but I don't want it to feel like anybody's unapproachable. Yeah. So I think they've really taken that to heart in the sense of anybody can go to anybody. Everybody's friends with everybody on and off the court. So they've really definitely taken unity to heart. Growth mindset. I have a lot of perfectionists on my team. I don't know if you do on your team as well, but just I feel like athletes in general have high expectations for themselves, which is great, but they sometimes forget the giving themselves grace portion and understanding it's a process and trusting the process. So that's another thing that they really wanted to make sure that they were taking ownership of, and then relentlessness. So just making sure that they're giving 100% effort, they're going for every ball, they're not leaving reps out there on the floor. And so that's what they established for themselves. And I think it's easier then as a coach, if they're not living up to those standards or those values, to put it back in their court and be like, this is what you wanted to be known for. Do you feel like you're holding yourselves accountable to those values? So those are the three that we've chosen for this team. I'm sure it'll change once we have different personnel next spring and going into the fall. But it's just, I think that's a really great way to make them a player-led team and not just necessarily me having to drive the bus all the time.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Very good. I think of communication is a big thing. Like, we have to communicate well, whether that's athlete to coach, whether that's teammate to teammate. Sometimes it can be hard to have hard conversations, or, to get out of your comfort zone and talk to people that you maybe are not always just drawn to right away. And so always pushing them to communicate well, communicating when they're doing their sport, but then outside of it, and holding each other accountable. I think of accountability. It's really important that we're being responsible in the classroom and we're being responsible on the mat, and we're, I think about, we win together, we lose together, and we have to, do that together. It isn't, we can have all this fun when it's winning, but then it can be hard to lose, right? But we're losing together, and we're going to create that good environment that is going to put everyone pushing forward and being resilient. That would be my next one is how can we be resilient, especially when times are hard? Because it's going to happen as a student athlete, especially at the collegiate level, that we are just going to go through things, and times are going to be tough, but how can we persevere? What can we do? And then can we communicate when we're needing more support? And how can our teammates also help us through that, or how can I help them through that? If I don't know about it, I can't help it, right? And so it's important that, we're just pushing in all those ways. So those are a couple things.
Yeah. And as coaches, and I know we get a lot of students from all different walks of life, how do you guys kind of navigate as coaches to kind of stay true to that identity of unity, togetherness, resilience, relentless? How do you guys kind of try and maintain that cohesive family-like structure on your team when freshmen are coming in every year and seniors are leaving every year, and it's kind of like you kind of have to restart with a whole new group of people? How do you guys kind of keep that cohesive and stay true to that identity?
Yeah, well, I think it starts from the top. I think it starts with us as head coaches to make sure that we're holding them accountable to those standards. The biggest thing for me is I'm very big on relationships, and I think it's important to understand that each person operates differently. Each person handles feedback differently or stress differently, and each person is an individual. So I think that goes a long way if they know that you care about them as people. More than just athletes. Like, I talk to recruits about that all the time. Like, I want to get to know who you are, not just for what you can do for me on the volleyball court. You're not a robot. You're not somebody that, I'm just putting through the motions. Like, I want to get to know who you are, because I feel like the more I get to know you, it's going to help me be a better coach for you. So I definitely think it starts from us as coaches to help kind of foster that culture. But then just making sure that you have good leaders. I think that's really important. And leaders come in all different shapes and sizes too. And, I have a group of 4 captains this year, and they all have a different strength, which I think is good, because someone's weakness is someone's strength. They just balance each other out well. And if someone's not as good with the confrontation part, they can be more of the motherly figure or the servant leader figure. So I just think it's good to have good leadership that can really also set the tone. And thankfully, I feel fortunate. We've got a great culture. Coach G did a great job of establishing that and maintaining that for a long period of time. So I'm doing my best to do that as well. But I definitely think it starts with us as coaches.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's a big part of who we are and what we do. And we are all very passionate. I would say all the coaches here at Midland are passionate about what we do, and just making sure that we're laying really good foundation for what we can build off of that. So I think that's extremely important.
I kind of want to know a little bit about your favorite memories. It could be funny, it can be a celebratory, just little memory that you have through your entire coaching, and then if you do have one from Midland, again with Midland too.
Yes, I'll go first. I think, I think about this year and just something really recent that just happened. I mean, just the support that the athletes have for each other. We had a individual get a brand new skill. She'd never thrown it on dead, and like just watching the whole team literally like almost tackle her in excitement, and like that is fun. Those small wins. It doesn't have to always be the big ones. But I also think of something that's very big for our program and something that was just like so special. 2 years ago, we got 5th place at NAI Nationals, and that was just like amazing. It was a blessing. It was so much fun. It was fun for them to hit 2 routines at, the biggest stage for them. And just the excitement after that. And like, I just feel like I couldn't control myself. And they're like, here, put this headset on and I want to see you do this interview now. And I'm like, I can't even breathe. But yeah, so just a lot of fun there. Again, blessed to do what I do. I love it.
That's awesome.
As far as Midland goes, I'm in my first year as the head coach, so my first career win was obviously a big moment, and it was against a ranked opponent in our opening weekend tournament. So we were down at Missouri Baptist in St. Louis, and they were ranked ahead of us, and we went in and got a 4-set win. And I don't think we were expected to win that game based on just the talent that was across the net. So to see our girls be relentless, which again was one of the values that they had established, and play together as a unit. And to trust the process. I really think that they embodied all 3 of the values that they chose. So that was fun to see as a coach, us get the win based on the things that we wanted to hold ourselves accountable for. And then obviously just getting my first career win was a really cool moment too.
Yeah, I love that. I got chills when you guys were telling the story for both of you guys. I love it. And I love going to both of y'all's events of like just volleyball and cheer in general. I just remember loving going and watching other teams. Like I competed for both sports, but like my favorite part was watching and being able to see like the fans, like the moms with all the pom-poms and the signs, and then like the student section for the team for volleyball, like just that energy and the electric, what you were saying, the atmosphere is just electric. And I think that just, as an athlete, like that also kind of helps. Like
that's what you
your
live for.
Energy.
For sure.
And
the
so
vibe.
yes, for sure. And so that, again, just got chills when you guys were telling that story, because I feel like I was there and like I know what that feels like too. So that's awesome. Love that. So as a student athlete myself, I kind of know how I like to balance my life with academics, athletics, social life, spiritual life. How do you guys as coaches see your athletes kind of balancing the success as an athlete in academia, and then also balancing their social life, because students also have to have fun sometimes outside of practice. So how do you guys kind of like see your athletes being successful in those areas?
For sure. I make all my kids use Google Calendar. They have to put in their class schedules and their work schedules and try to help them kind of stay organized as best that they can, because I know that it is a lot. The pressure of being a student athlete can be heavy, and but I also know that like pressure is a privilege. Like you're privileged to get this pressure and to have to maintain good grades, but then also perform at this high level. But I think that at least my athletes, and I think a lot of athletes on campus, really do a good job of managing all of that. And, that whether it's they're in the weight room, whether they're at practice, whether they are in the classroom or having to do library hours. A lot of coaches require library hours. Our program is 4 a week. And so making sure that those kids are staying as accountable as possible to all of those things. It's important. We want to make sure. And then when it comes to, that social life, I think that the hardest balance is probably for your freshmen who come in and they're like, yes, the social life, like this is going to be so much fun. College, I don't have my parents over my shoulder, and them kind of really balancing that has to, I think it goes through its troubles, but also they have to figure it out and kind of learn and become an adult, and it's a process, but it's a good one. It's something that they have to learn. So
yeah.
Well, one, I think the just from a class perspective and academics perspective, I think the GPAC really kind of sets us up for success. You know, from a travel standpoint, you know, there are some conferences where you have to be on a bus for 6-7 hours, or you have to fly to your opponent. So I think for the GPAC to be very centrally located and for us to kind of be right in the middle of all the schools that we're going to, like our players rarely miss class. And so I think that's a big stress reliever for them to not have to constantly be making up class every week. And so, you know, the only time we really miss class for volleyball is nationals. And I think the girls are okay with missing class if it means that we're in the national tournament. So I just think the GPAC makes it a lot easier on our student athletes' lives right off the bat. But you know, we have a high academic standard. Our volleyball team, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we did have the highest team GPA of all women's programs here. So, you know, it's just kind of the expectation in our program. And what we tell incoming players is, you know, we're not expecting you to be a 4.0 student. Some are, but we're expecting you to be the best student that you can possibly be. So if that's a 3.5, we're going to shoot for that 3.5. So we do 6 hours of study hall for our freshmen, and they've done a really good job this fall of maintaining those hours. And I think the upperclassmen also help. Again, we want to make sure that because they're in a lot of the same classes, we have a lot of people that are in the same major. So, you know, juniors and seniors have been like, hey, I had that professor, the way to, you know, get on their good side is to do this and this, or avoid doing this. So I just think it's good for our upperclassmen to kind of, you know, share their experiences and their knowledge and really help the underclassmen out. But we also recruit, you know, highly academic kids who we don't have to micromanage. So again, from a volleyball standpoint, I feel like we're pretty blessed and fortunate that we have determined athletes who want to be successful in the classroom and on the court. As far as a social aspect, you know, I think that's the great thing about NAIA is that it allows you to be a holistic student. You know, D1, D2, it's more of a job in a lot of senses. And I feel like here you get to do everything that you want to do. And we want them to be able to do everything that they want. So, you know, even this fall, there have been days where I'm like, you know, I can just tell that they're kind of mentally exhausted. They're physically exhausted. We're going to take the day off. You know, we went down to Pinnacle Bank Arena and watched the men's basketball team. The girls utilized their free ticket to Vala's. So we want them to do things that allow them to just have the student experience and not always be about volleyball. And I think that also helps prevent burnout and continue their passion and their love for the game, not making it about that sport all the time.
I think like that, like, I don't know, like think about it, it's a little triangle where you like your physical, your mental, and then like spiritual, and that if one of them is really not working, it's going to affect the other ones. And so making sure that we are helping those athletes through any mental side of things, as well as, you know, making sure we're pushing them to make sure all of their physical things, you know, our athletic or our AT staff is so amazing and utilizing all of those great spaces. So
and you mentioned it earlier, but we don't know if you're struggling unless you tell us. So that's another thing I tell them. Hey, if you're coming into practice and you're dealing with something off the court, like, let me know, because then I'm going to approach you differently that day. Like if I know, okay, she's going through some stuff, I can't be as, I don't want to say hard on you, but, you know, I just have to approach you in a different way that day. So I think transparency and open-ended conversations about where they're at. But the other thing we talk about is just being able to compartmentalize. And I know it's hard at times, like if you're stressed about a class or a test, like you can bring that into practice, but do your best to leave that out the door for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, take care of what we need to from a practice standpoint, and then not go back to being stressed, but go back to the things, you know, that are maybe wouldn't allow you to be the best on the volleyball court. So I think that transparency and open communication is really important for them to be able to feel like they can come to us if they're struggling in one of their areas.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think like, yes, trying to leave it at the door, but also it's like, telling us and making sure that we know, and then doing your very best. My team uses like touching the wall. Like if they just feel like they're like, I just need a second, just they like go themselves. And they literally touch a wall, and then they come back and they're like, okay, I'm ready to rock. Like just having take your moment and then come back ready to be resilient. So
love that. And I love that both of you guys touched on togetherness and unity with your identity, and then you guys talk about transparency and like that your athletes are comfortable enough to come to you and be like, Coach, I'm just not having a good day. This happened with class. This happened with X, Y, and Z. And you guys are welcoming that into that space. And like you guys are just wanting them to be totally comfortable with you guys to talk about those things. And then you also have the options of touching the ball and taking a second or just taking the day off. And I love seeing like when all the volleyball girls went to Val's, I saw like all their posts on Instagram, or like when the cheer girls go and do something as like a group. Like I just love seeing that, because it's like we're not just individuals in this sport. Like we are truly a family and a team, and like that just shows when the people that you want to spend your outside time with are the people that you spend your practice time with. Like I think that that just goes back to the identity of like unity and togetherness and family. Like I just think that that shows how you guys approach your team as well. So yeah.
I think I see my team, you know, they like to hang out with each other, but then also always trying to push them. I'm like, make friends outside of our team. That is important to your athletic experience too. And there are really great athletes on campus, and I'm like, just, you know, get out of that comfort zone and meet new people. So
yeah, for sure.
Really cool.
All right. Well, all of that was just so amazing, and I love hearing about your athletes and how you guys are as coaches, and what kind of is exciting you guys about this upcoming year, just the future of your program in general, any milestones that you guys are hitting or are looking to hit really soon. And we are still pretty early in this semester and the year, and so there's a lot to look forward to, but just a little bit of what excites you guys.
Yeah, well, we have our senior night tomorrow, so we're already to that point. It's our last regular season game against Hastings. So postseason's coming up. We've secured an opening. We get to host the first round of conference play on Saturday, so that's nice. And we're in good position to hopefully be able to host an opening round game for the NAIA National Tournament. So our team's done a good job. They put in a good body of work. You know, if you've listened to any of, which I'm not saying that any of you have or need to, but I talk about it a lot when I'm talking with Rich Ray in my pregame and postgame interviews. We're really young. Like 10 of the 14 players that are playing a lot on the court are freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah.
And we're third in the GPAC. Have the opportunity to host an opening round match. We're in the top 20. So that's really exciting for me to know that we're doing as well as we are with really not a lot of players with experience. We lost to Concordia on Saturday in 5. They're number 4 in the country. We were up 2-0, ended up losing. But again, they're mostly juniors and seniors, whereas we're freshmen and sophomores. So that just really excites me. Once those underclassmen have a year or two under their belt, they're more mature, they're more experienced, they've been in more of those pressure situations. I can only imagine what we're going to be able to do and how we can hopefully be that top 5 team in the country. So just from a personnel standpoint and a team standpoint, I think we have our best is yet to come. And we're doing really well right now too. So that, again, is just really exciting. So I guess that's really kind of just a little bit about what I'm excited for moving forward with this program.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's exciting. Okay, so I would say, well, we're about to get choreography for our competition team this weekend, and so we're super excited about that and being ready to rock through the competitive season that starts first weekend in February. But something new for our program this year is we're heading back to NCAA College Nationals. So that is kind of aside from the NAIA side. It's its own identity there. And so we're going to be heading there, and we're excited about that opportunity for our athletes and then incoming athletes, taking one team this year. But I would say goals for the future is that we could possibly take 2 teams and provide more opportunity to have more kids competing. So we'll be able to have our NAIA team that competes all the way through their season. Then they'll get to take that routine and then also have an additional routine that gets to go and have again, another opportunity for some athletes to go and be competitive. So, but we have 33 kids on our roster currently and looking to bring about 20 to 25 more. So, you know, we'd love to sit around the 50 to 55 roster. So, but yeah,
that is amazing.
Kudos to you.
It'll be a lot, but it's going to be fine.
No, that sounds so exciting, and I'm so excited to see what your program does this year. And I mean, fall is kind of a really busy time for both of y'all's teams. And I think that y'all have just done, definitely nonstop for both of you guys. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what this year has in store. For all of our viewers who are possibly in high school and looking to be a collegiate volleyball player or a collegiate cheerleader, or just a collegiate athlete in general, what kind of advice do you guys have for them as like next steps?
Okay. Well, we communicate with a lot of our kids via social media. A lot of kids on the cheer side have been creating Instagram accounts. And so creating an account, showcasing yourself in the best way, whether it comes to your skills or just good communication through that process. But yeah, when it comes to getting recruited, applying and working through acceptance is an important part. Once you have done that, that is when we'll evaluate for scholarship. On the cheer side, there's a lot of programs across the country that require a tryout, and we do not. No scary tryout here. We just are solely recruitment based. So getting your name in the funnel and is the next kind of important thing. Make sure that we know who you are. So
Yeah.
I would say from our end, being proactive. So, there's a lot of talent out there, but I have limited time. So if you're interested, I would love for you to be the one that kind of reaches out and kind of is just proactive in that approach. For volleyball, film is really important. So if you're going to email me, I need to have some film because it's impossible for me to evaluate where you would land on our team and stack up against the people that we already have on the team or coming in your class without being able to evaluate you. So film is the best way, and also personalize it. I feel like a lot of recruits send a very generalized email, which I understand you're probably sending it out to a lot of people, but even if you can just put one or two personal touches or talk about our season, something that shows me that you've put in a little bit of time and effort at looking at our website and who Midland Volleyball is, I think kind of sets recruits apart in some ways. So those are just a couple of things. But I would say film and personalizing it are the easiest ways to kind of catch my attention.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all we have for today. Thank you guys for coming out and being on the podcast. At Midland, we always have something going on. So if you're interested in just coming to see Midland or possibly running into either one of these two, come to an event on Midland. We, again, have something going on every single week for the most part, it feels like. And again, look at the Midland website. But yeah, again, thank you guys for coming out and sharing a little bit of your story and how you guys are coaches at Midland.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course. That's it for today. I'm Lily.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Micah.
And
this is Midland Made.